This is the Sabbath School lesson for the second quarter, 2021.
Lesson 8 for May 15 to 21, Covenant Law, and read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Wednesday, May 19, The Stability of God's Law. What truth about God does the presence of God's law in the covenant relationship teach us about his essential nature? Well, let's look at Malachi 3 verse 6. For I am the Lord, I do not change, therefore you are not consumed, O sons of Jacob. And James 1 verse 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and comes down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow of turning. God's law is an oral or written expression of his will, as we read in Psalm 40, verse 8. I delight to do your will, O my God, and your law is within my heart. Because it is a transcript of his character, its presence in the covenant assures us of the permanence and dependability of God. Although we may not always be able to discern the outworkings of his providence, we know he is trustworthy. His universe is under unvarying moral and physical laws. It is this fact that gives us true freedom and security. And Walter R. Beach, writing in Dimensions in Salvation, page 143, published by Review and Herald Publishing Association in 1963, writes, The assurance that God is reliable and dependable lies in the truth that he is a God of law. His will and his law are one. God says that right is right because it describes the best possible relationships. Therefore, God's law is never arbitrary or subject to whim or fancy. It is the most stable thing in the universe. End of quote. If God's law cannot save a person from sin, why did he make it a part of the covenant? Well, let's have a look at Amos 3, verse 3. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? A relationship requires agreement and harmony. Because God is not only the creator of the world, but also its moral governor, law is essential for the happiness of his created, intelligent beings to live in harmony with him. His law, the expression of his will, is thus the constitution of his government. It is naturally the norm or obligation of the covenant arrangement and relationship. Its purpose is not to save, but to define our duty to God, Commandments 1 to 4, and our duty to our fellow human beings, Commandments 5 to 10. In other words, it sets forth the manner of life that God designs for his covenant children to live, for their own happiness and well-being. It prevented Israel from substituting some other philosophy as a way of life. It was and is the purpose of the covenant relationship to bring the believer through God's transforming grace into harmony with his will and character. And so to finish today, look around. Can you not see the devastating effects of lawlessness? Even in your own life, can you not see some damage done by breaking God's law? In what ways do these realities help to affirm the goodness of God's law and why law should be a crucial part of our relationship with him? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. It's supported by the Sabbath School Department and Hope Channel Australia and is rebroadcast by Christian Record Services and through podcasts at It Is Written in the United States, Hope Channel Germany, and through Apple iTunes and SoundCloud. Remember, God is always faithful.